Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dennis Wilburn with the Active Trend Traders. Welcome to the Making Money Trading Stocks and ETFs for the week of, what is the day? October 20th. And so I'm glad you all join us today. Last week we started the session off immediately with a bonus trade, which we're going to be doing going forward with the active trend trading system. And it's to introduce people who are not premium members to exactly what we're doing. But we did introduce a bonus trade on Play, P-L-A-Y. And I just give you an idea, and we basically went through the trade, got it in place, and I'll just pop that up really quick and see how we're doing here. So we bought into Play at about 47.70. And it was kind of a bottom fishing type of thing, but we got it. Here's last Friday. Got a nice little bounce off of the lower moving average channel, TSI tick up on a daily chart, and that was our trigger to get in. And so we basically, it held the midline of the candle on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and now it's pushing higher today. One of the things that is quite interesting, and I'll just share this with you really quick, is when we put this trade together, we were anticipating, get out at a 5% move, pull half the position off. The 50% move would have been up there at $50.15. And as you can see, the 20-day moving average is just hanging right here, and it ran up to it this morning and then stopped dead in the water. So I'm going to be putting out probably a training webinar in the very near future to talk specifically about that type of issue when a moving average, and we can draw this in here like this, and as you can see, when we first started the trade, okay, the $50.15 was in play. However, it fell short of it on Tuesday of this past week, fell short of it again, and so one can legitimately say, hey, I've run into a level of resistance. I'm going to take a partial profit here. I wouldn't get totally out of the position, but you can say, okay, even though I didn't hit my 5%, I hit 3.5% or 4% or 5%. And the way it's basically working out is just that it's run into an area where we expect to find resistance. It found it and now is coming back down. It's not, selling off dramatically. And we've got everything still looking like it's in gear very nicely. On a weekly chart, we basically have almost put in a piercing line, which is a bearish reversal signal off of a bottom. So, but again, I'll let you make the decision. Nothing wrong with pulling out of the, pulling a part of the profit off of it. But then reload if it breaks back up, and I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't close the rest of the position. If I were to do this, I would basically just take my half position off for profit. But hey, we're going to let it go ahead and roll. I hope if you're a non-active trend trading member, or are a free, subscribe to the free part of active trend trading, that you like this and can be able to see exactly what we're doing, and encourage you to become a premium member. That way you'll be able to jump in and trade some of the other trades, because we also did last Friday, we got in on F5, pre-earnings run, got in over, where was Friday? Right there, no, where's Friday? Right there. We got basically in on this trigger here, and it held its low, and then we get a nice breakout today as it's moving higher. Well, typically we're looking for about a 5% move on this, and so again, this was to our premium members, jumped on this trade last Friday, and now we get our breakout today. Would love to see Play do the same thing, but we shall be patient. On this particular F5 trade, it has earnings coming up on the 25th after market close, and so I will be making sure that I close this position out prior to the close on the 25th. And so that may only, I will also anticipate, let's say we get a breakout on Monday on this particular trade. If it hits the, up here, this is the 100-day moving average. If it hits that and appears to be falling back down, I'll go ahead and close the position out for a 3, 4, 5, 3 or 4% gain on the trade, and just go, hey, that's awesome. We'll take it. So let's get back over to what we came to talk about today, SPX. Got some other great news for the premium members that I'll be sharing at the top of the hour when we get back to the presentation and what we're working on. Okay, I want to remind everybody that all the materials we do present are for training purposes only. Traders should always paper trade any new method prior to the risk of their own personal capital. I encourage you, if you like what you see with the active trend trading, there's always enough to go around for everybody. So please share it with your neighbor, your friends, anybody who's interested in trading, because I love to have more people as members of the family, the active trend trading family. Okay, there's a little bit about me. One of the things we are going to be putting out, and I'll be basically doing a couple of webinars on this and or videos. Strategy number 2 is going to we're going to take that option strategy and pull it into a income generating strategy. I've been working on pulling together all the mechanics of doing that so that it will be basically a weekly income generating strategy. We're going to target weekly income of about $1,000 a week. And so if you know anybody who's interested in that, and that's to be able to do that on some very select ETFs and stocks that with their weekly options gives us a great chance of pulling in, again, $1,000 a week, because I'm thinking $1,000 a week in income, that equates to about $52,000 for the year. If we can risk a very small portion of our capital to do that, that can make a big difference in the lives of a lot of people, especially those folks like me who are approaching 65 years old or are past 65 years old and who would like to supplement their other retirement accounts and all that kind of stuff. $52,000 a year, or even half of that, $500 a week. $26,000 a year. That would make life a lot easier for a lot of folks. So the objective of the How to Make Money Trading Stocks and ETFs webinar is to basically provide timely, actionable intel review at the end of each week. We'll do a market review, stock and ETFs that are setting up potentially. Of course, the premium members get the specific targets, triggers on those. And then what else are we looking at? So remember, you have been given the keys. Now learn to open the doors. So here's where we're sitting. I haven't been doing a lot of trading, but thanks to basically our strategy number 3, we continue to move up. We're approaching our 40% target for the year. I have modified that. I'm shooting for 50% for the year. Then we did that modification halfway through the year. Let's take a look at what the indexes are telling us. As you can see, indexes are up strong. Now that they're up strong for the year. Kind of an amazing post-election year. It's kind of funny. I mean, President Trump keeps everybody distracted with his tweets, while I think his minions are out there in the economy helping things to get turned around. And some of the other things that I find very interesting is, one is, as you're aware, under the past administration, early in the past administration, they modified the how they measure unemployment, and so the people who are underemployed or had stopped looking, completely fell off the rolls. And so now what's happened is more people are going back to work. It's resulting in kind of like false data to the other side, showing that, hey, we're at our lowest unemployment level in decades, if not years. But remember, it's based off an adjusted measurement that the Feds came up with. And hold on a second, I have to change glasses so I can see. There we go. So let's take a look at the charts real quick, and then we'll take a look at, there we go. Okay, SPX, as you see, hey, big blowout to the upside today. It is still continuing, and as you can see, this is, yes, we have a minor amount of negative divergence. However, this market looks like, it still wants to rock and roll to the upside. One of the things that is causing this is just what's going on overseas. We've got one of the things that is a good monitor for whether or not our market's going to move up or not is the Japanese yen. As you can see, the Japanese yen, this is a daily chart, has been falling. I encourage you, this is / or /J7, that's the yen futures, and as you can tell, it's approaching a very interesting point which will be a floor. Does the Japanese yen stop right there and then rebound and move back up? Therefore, that would be an incentive for our market to go down, or is it going to break through this and fall further, which would be an incentive for the U.S. stock market to continue going up? So just keep that in mind. I will encourage you, take this entity, look at it this weekend, compare the highs and lows, especially on a monthly or weekly chart. How does that correspond to the highs and lows on the our indexes? So, and I think you'll find that the correlation is very interesting. NASDAQ. As you see, again, NASDAQ had fallen a little bit. We have had a crossover with the TSI, so that is a bearish crossover with TSI on a daily chart. Negative divergence on the momentum. But we have basically the market forecast actually racing towards the top, where we may get a 3-line cluster. And I want to go back to the S&P just really quick, because if I'm not mistaken, just pay attention to this. Yes, we are making new highs. However, what's our market forecast doing? Making a 3-line cluster. What's kind of the rule of thumb utilizing the market forecast is that somewhere between 1 to 5 trading periods, there will tend to be a reversal when or at least the momentum to that direction slows greatly when we have either a bearish cluster, which is everything in the top section above 20, or a bullish cluster, which is all, proper bullish cluster is all 3 of the momentum indicators below 20 to the bottom side and above 80 to the top side for a bearish. And so that's what, we may be, this would be considered right now, if we just stayed right where we're at, a bearish cluster. Doesn't mean it's going to reverse and just fall out of the sky, but it is something to just keep our eye on as a clue to say, hey, we may be slowing down here very soon. So here's NASDAQ. Get rid of that. Remove. Again, it basically kind of found support, bounced back up today. Again, TSI has crossed, but look how out of sync we are with TSI. TSI on a daily chart is rolled over. TSI on a weekly chart pointed up. TSI on a monthly chart is also rolled up. And I did not mean to be on the 3-page chart. Here we go. Let's get back over here. There we go. And let's see, last but not least, let's look at Russell. Remember when we talked about Russell putting in this kind of like shallow bull flag? Well, it in fact did pop out of that today, put in a very nice hammer or a dragonfly doji at the end of a slight downtrend yesterday, bounced up today. Now we have a TSI tick up. So we need to be prepared to trade Russell or TNA to the upside from here, but it may pull back down into the midsection of this, and it's right now right back up into resistance. And so I will look to trade this either bouncing off the 8 or because I really don't like to play breakouts, but it would need to break the 1550 area, or I may look for a pullback onto this uptrend chart right here, uptrend trend right there. So that's where we're sitting, and I can take. So again, like I said, looking positive. Notice we are divergent though. Weekly TSI, weekly momentum, weekly market forecast. Bye, sweetheart. Love you too. I know. If I don't say that, I'm in a lot of trouble, guys. You understand that? Okay. No, my wife's going down. She has some ministry work to do. But again, true strength index on a weekly chart up towards the upper reversal signal. So, but it can continue to move higher. So this is a nice little bull flag that's shaped here. And let's just stand by and be ready just in case it continues to move higher. And so any questions really quick on the indexes themselves? Okay, moving right along. We've got about I got to get done in about 3 minutes. Okay, stocks I'm looking for, of course, I would love to see a pullback prior to the end of the year for the end of the year move to take place. So the entities that I like best on those are IWM, QQQQQ, and I'd be trading the leveraged ETFs on those. We introduced last week bonus trades. What to be anticipating with the bonus trades for folks who like to join this webinar is I want to do somewhere between 10 to 12 bonus trades each year that I will share with everybody. And again, the play trade from last week is up 3%. And what we're going to try to do is just build a small little portfolio for the people who join the Making Money Trading Stocks and ETFs on Fridays. Here's the other entities I'm looking at: Netflix, Tesla, NVDA. These are the three. I'll just share it with you right now. These are the three that we're going to focus on with the. We basically are going to focus on these three for some of our option trades for strategy number 2. Bob asked a question: are all your indexes covered with a leap? No, Bob, I'm only doing the SPYs with the leap. And I'm still trying to make a determination on whether or not I will use strategy 3 for the SPYs last year. It's doing really well. I mean, it's up nicely. But YY, Kiwi, F5, we're already in that. JCOM, I'm watching JCOM. It's going to either flip into a big downside trade and or a upside trade. So we're watching that. Catfish Special, not play we got into last week. I'm not in a hurry on Sienna or Momo or Ellie at this point. So hey, I want to remind you, if you are in the Bay Area, okay, on November 4th at the Masonic in San Jose, at 9 a.m. Pacific, Lee Tanner, one of the best stock traders who follows the IBD methods that I know, great shipmate, former naval officer, former nuclear engineer. So he almost glows in the dark. That's a joke. No, Lee's going to be there to make a presentation on, and he's going to be dissecting IBD stocks, how they work, and why he follows them, and also an update on how he's done for the year. So don't forget old Lee. Okay, here's the bonus trade we're talking about. This is where we entered last week. Here's where we were sitting at about 9 o'clock this morning. So I'm quite pleased with this. I'm looking to unload about half of these shares when the price gets up to $50.15. Hopefully it will make it up there. If it doesn't, hey, like I said, we're sitting about 3% up right now, and we'll be adding. I'll be trying to add, one of these per month, and to me, that sounds like a pretty good deal. Especially if we continue to hammer, beat, knock them out of the park like we're doing here with our various strategies. Strategy 1's a portfolio building strategy. Strategy 2, again, we're up 32% for it, but I'm going to modify this into a solid income earning strategy for those who like to trade options that we will try to have. We will, if the market sets up properly, try to have a trade going on that every week, utilizing the weekly options. This strategy number 3, which is our leaps. This is like our covered call strategy on steroids, and it's doing quite well. Total return for the year about 38%. Very pleased with that. One of the things I am watching a lot, very closely, I'm looking for a seasonality setup trade on both NASDAQ and the Russell. As you can see, similar type situation. As you can see, we are getting into the October time frame, and somewhere October, November, hopefully we'll get a setup that'll give us a launch point for a 10 to 15 to 20% gain between now and the end of the year. Again, that's for the premium active trend trading members who will get the early warning alerts out on the two different things. Early warning alerts will go out on that, and there will be some alerts for the active trend traders. So the active trend trading system is very simple. One, I have a motto of clarify, simplify, so that we can all multiply our capital. We follow the 5 pillars: what to trade, when to enter, when to exit, what strategy we're going to use, and what to expect. Okay, here is what we've introduced for the active trend trading for the premium members is basically this go, no-go chart that we post to the website every weekend or no later than on Monday. And this past week, what have we identified? F5, play, and then also gave a description of everything else on the, on our current hot watch list, ETFs, my 3 primary stocks that I'm watching, and then my floaters down here. And I give just a little bit of a list of what I'm looking for, so then you can then, if you want to trade along with me or trade along with us, you say, okay, hey, I can set up my own trades. That's the idea of what I'm looking for, is that giving you enough information so you can set up your own trades and then put your conditional orders in. So, okay, my friends, that's it for today. I want, as a bonus to you, I want to just cover really one other entity very quickly, and that's my buddy Tesla. Just watch Tesla. Here's intraday, daily, weekly. Okay, Tesla is finding support down around a past support area. Now, on a daily chart, we've got the TSI that is broken over, but it's moving down to the 0 line, which oftentimes works as a support level. One could look at this for a potential bounce candidate. We have earnings coming up on 11/1, so that's a week and a half away. So there's a couple of trades. We could look at opening a position with an option that that expires the week of 11/1. And I would look to buy, like a 40, somewhere between a 30 and a 40 delta, and let the implied volatility grow on that and then close it right before earnings. That was probably the day of earnings. As you can see, we're looking pretty good. We're getting a market forecast, at least 2-line cluster down here below. It's not really below 20, so never mind. But we are getting a TSI tick up on the hourly. No TSI, it's negative on the daily, negative on the weekly, but it is staying above 0, so it's finding support, and it's looking like it's finding support in this little range around the price of 345. So I will leave that with you as something to think about and be studying over the weekend. And with the rest of it, I want to say, if you're looking to follow us on, we have a Facebook presence at Facebook/Active Trend Trading, Twitter presence. I do tweet out information about what I'm doing, especially notifications. And so for premium members, we'll see you in about 30 minutes for the final hour. And hopefully we'll get some really good setups that will be ready to trade into the final hour. So with everything else, that's what I get to wake up to every morning. Until Monday, aloha, trade wisely, trade profitably, and God bless everybody. Have a great, great weekend.